Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker being quoted in New Hampshire. Never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They must understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone. That's just a quote being reported by national press out of New Hampshire with Governor J.B. Pritzker out politicking. And he started it off, of course, Friday, where he joined Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton during a campaign announcement, using his campaign arm to support and give his endorsement to his lieutenant governor to replace U.S. Senator Dick Durbin, who's not running for another term. All right, it's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. You can get this program live each and every weekday morning here with the Center Square on YouTube, but you can also get headlines in your inbox. Just go to the centersquare.com, click the newsletter, sign up that way. All right, so Wednesday last week came kind of mid-morning. The video highly produced from U.S. Senator Dick Durbin announcing he was not going to run for another term. And then you had the governor of Illinois at an unrelated news conference being asked about it in Decatur, and he said that he's not going to endorse anybody at this time. Durbin just announced within the hour, Pritzker said. You can see those that tape from last week when we reviewed that. And he said that he wouldn't endorse anybody at the moment. And again, that was Wednesday morning. Then Thursday morning, Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton released a campaign video to where she said that she is not got the typical job, or background of what a U.S. Senator has, but she says she's the right person to fight Trump in the White House as a U.S. Senator. So she tossed her hat in the ring on Thursday. And then the governor held a news conference up in Chicago, unrelated, but here's some of the questions that he was asked on Friday, where he, obviously the morning unofficial business, using his campaign, went and endorsed Juliana Stratton with an event in Chicago. But then he went official business to a ribbon cutting for a green energy project in Chicago. And in Q&A afterwards with members of the media, they were more interested in the politics of what's going on with the U.S. Senate seats. Here's the governor being asked about that. And I'm just now seeing that there might not be audio coming through, so I'm going to combine the channels and make sure that we've got that just so that you guys can actually hear it. And not so much. Could you guys hear it the first time? I guess we'll just have to wait and see on that. Yeah, sometimes the audio channels can get a little messy depending on the raw source. I can hear it in my one channel, but not in the other. So let's see if we can just do left only. Oh, there we go.
This, no doubt there'll be a competitive primary here. The presidential race was a whole different kettle of fish, right? This was a very hyper unusual situation where a president of the United States, after the primaries are over, decided not to run anymore. There was no time. I mean, I think there were 5 weeks between the time he decided not to run and the time of the Democratic convention. So it made sense for us all to rally around the vice president. And although she didn't win, there were only 108 days to run a campaign. So this is a whole different situation. This is going to be a full-on year, long campaign, maybe 10 months till the primary. And I know that Juliana Stratton has demonstrated over the last 6.5 years what a great leader, what a great campaigner she is, and how she connects to people all across the state of Illinois. And she's going to demonstrate that throughout this campaign. She's the most dynamic person that is planning to run for United States Senate, and I expect that she will win.
So the governor obviously endorsing his lieutenant governor, Juliana Stratton, to take Senator Durbin's seat there, saying, hey, there is going to be a primary, but he's jumping out here 10 months out and going ahead and endorsing his lieutenant governor. This raises the question of when is Pritzker going to announce his third term bid for governor, which is 2026, same as the Senate seat, 2026, but not the same as the next presidential race, 2028. So a lot of speculation for years. Pritzker's been followed with questions of, are you going to run for president? The way he positions himself on cable news, the way he positions himself on national politics. getting that attention. It's been an ongoing question that media have been asking him whenever the political calendar starts to move towards the next election. So clearly, a lot more questions for Pritzker because if Stratton's going off to run for Senate and he's going to look for a third term, who's going to be his lieutenant governor? And will that lieutenant governor be having to ask questions of, are they going to ultimately become governor if Governor Pritzker runs for president in 28 and possibly wins? I mean, all of that is kind of fascinating. And I'm sure a lot of people are, getting their chalkboards out and posting the strings, and I forget what those maps are called. But anyways, back to the Governor Friday talking about Juliana Stratton. Again, every question he was asked Friday at this official event was not about the official event. It was about politics.
Well, primaries are always challenging, right? Because you're running against people that you share some values with, right? We're all part of the same party. So that's always challenging. But what all the candidates no doubt will share in common is an understanding that this is a moment in which we need to fight. And there's no better fighter. There's nobody who's demonstrated a greater ability to stand up to Donald Trump and the Republicans than Juliana Stratton.
So, again, Pritzker continued to be asked questions about the situation with Juliana Stratton. He says, well, there will be a primary, but she's the best person for it. So the governor, of course, did that Friday. 48 hours after Senator Durbin said he wasn't running for a second term, or not a second term, another term. It would, I think, have been like a seventh term for Durbin if he did choose to run. But then you have the governor over the weekend going out on the political stump, so to speak. And we have this reporter here that was at an event in New Hampshire who had this quote from the governor, and this reporter's for Washington Post, quoting the governor saying, never before in my life have I called for mass protests, for mobilization, for disruption, but I am now. The Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They must understand that we fight their cruelty with every megaphone. And then you have Natasha Korecki with a on-the-ground video as well of the governor in front of Democrats getting standing ovations and making this statement. Let's see if we can get that out there.
These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. They have to understand that we will fight their cruelty with every megaphone and microphone that we have. We must castigate them on the soapbox and then punish them at the ballot box.
So we must castigate them on the soapbox and punish them at the ballot box, using words like mass protest, mobilization, disruption. Is that going to be the Democrats' move forward here? It's an interesting question, especially when you've got more of a liberal side of the Democrat Party, very critical of the, quote, oligarchy, which, if you're not familiar with the term oligarchy is, it's government run by the rich. Governor Pritzker is a billionaire. He's a Democrat. How is that going to mix with the more liberal side of things where you've got those pushing back against we don't need an oligarchy? So I think that's something else that the governor is going to have to discuss with reporters if they ask him about the oligarchy situation. It's one of the questions I'll try to get to him when he comes back down to Springfield. But he does have an event today. So I imagine that event today, he's going to be asked about the comments he made in New Hampshire. He's going to be asked about politics and more. So that's going to happen 2:30 this afternoon up in Chicago. He's got an event at the University of Illinois, Chicago. So we'll monitor that and bring you, of course, what he has to say there. So clearly that's something that's going on. But you then have the Illinois Republican Party that has put out a call for people to get Pritzker on the record here and to make him actually go and testify in front of Congress, because the governor has been invited to go and testify in front of Congress. So here is a little bit of a letter that was emailed out. Of course, I'm a member of the media, so I always get all these political messages as well. But Illinois Republican Party saying, hey, if you're proud of your record, you don't hide from questions. You don't dodge accountability. Republicans say you don't run. The Illinois Republican Party putting this out saying that's exactly what Governor J.B. Pritzker is doing right now. Pritzker's been invited to testify before Congress to explain his radical sanctuary policies, the taxpayer burden caused by his immigration agenda, and his refusal to enforce federal election law. His response? Silence. He won't say whether he'll show up or not. That tells you everything you need to know. What's in it for grandstanding on MSNBC? He's there. When it's time for flying to Mexico to bash President Trump, he's all in. But when it's time to testify under oath before Congress, he disappears. So they're calling for people to sign a petition to tell J.B. Pritzker, quote, "Don't be a chicken." And you can go and find that for yourself. Where you might be able to find your political messaging. So you've got that in the mix as well here. A lot of moving pieces. So what's going to happen? I guess we'll be watching. But at the same time, you've got the politics around President Trump very much at the center of this as well. We'll talk about that here with Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we break things down for you. Get the podcast where you get podcasts uninterrupted. Watch the live show. Get the newsletter. It's all with thecentersquare.com.